There is a name that whispers of unlimited wealth and secret power. A name that has been blamed for every war and every crisis for the last 200 years, the Rothschilds. If you search their name online, you will find stories about Illuminati lizards and secret world governments. But the truth is much more interesting than the conspiracy theories. The truth is not about magic, it is about information. They were the first people to realize that knowledge is money. While other bankers were betting on luck, the Rothschilds were building the internet of the 19th century. And they used it to pull off the greatest stock market heist in history during the Battle of Waterloo. To understand their rise, we start in the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt. In the 1760s, Mayer Amschel Rothschild was a rare coin dealer. He lived in a house marked with a red shield, which is what Rothschild means in German. He had 5 sons, and he had a vision that was centuries ahead of his time. He realized that if he kept all his sons in Frankfurt, their power would be limited, so he sent them out like arrows to the 5 financial capitals of Europe. Nathan went to London, James went to Paris, Salomon went to Vienna, Karl went to Naples, and Amschel stayed in Frankfurt. This was the birth of the first multinational bank. They created a private communication network. They had their own couriers, their own fast boats, and even carrier pigeons. While kings and governments were sending letters that took weeks, the Rothschild brothers could communicate in days. And they wrote their letters in a secret code mixing Hebrew and German so no one else could read them. This speed was their superpower. And the ultimate test of this power came in 1815. Napoleon Bonaparte had returned from exile and was marching across Europe. The fate of the world hung in the balance at the Battle of Waterloo. In London, the stock market was in a panic. If Napoleon won, British government bonds called consols would become worthless. If Wellington won, the bonds would skyrocket. Everyone was waiting for the news. Nathan Rothschild was sitting in his usual spot at the London Stock Exchange. He was known as the master of the market. Everyone watched his every move. Thanks to his private network of spies and fast boats, Nathan received the news of Napoleon's defeat a full 24 hours before the British government. He knew the truth, but instead of buying, he started selling. He sold his bonds aggressively, dumping millions onto the market. The other traders saw this and panicked. They thought, Rothschild knows, Napoleon has won. We are doomed. They started selling everything they had. The price of British bonds crashed to the floor. It was a fire sale. Then, at the last possible moment, just before the official news arrived, Nathan gave a secret signal to his agents. They started buying. They bought everything for pennies. When the official news finally arrived that Napoleon was defeated, the prices exploded upwards. Nathan Rothschild had multiplied his fortune in a single afternoon. He owned a massive chunk of the British government's debt. Some historians dispute the details of this story, but the outcome is undeniable. The Rothschilds became the bankers of empires. They financed the Industrial Revolution. They financed the purchase of the Suez Canal. They financed Cecil Rhodes and his diamond mines in Africa. They became so powerful that governments could not go to war without their permission, or at least without their loans. There is a famous quote attributed to Nathan Rothschild. I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. This level of power naturally created enemies. They became the target of anti-Semitic hatred and jealousy that continues to this day. But if we strip away the hate and the myths, we see the hidden logic of their success. They were not wizards, they were networkers. They understood that in a chaotic world, the person with the fastest information wins. Today, we have the internet. Information travels at the speed of light. But the principle remains the same. High-frequency trading algorithms that buy stocks milliseconds faster than you are just the modern version of Nathan's carrier pigeons. The Rothschilds taught us that money does not sleep, and neither does information. They built a dynasty on the simple idea that being first is better than being smart. In our next video, We are going to cross the Atlantic Ocean to America. We will meet a man who did not care about information networks, he cared about control. He saved the United States government from bankruptcy not once but twice. He was so powerful that he is the reason we have a central bank today. Get ready for the story of J.P. Morgan. Subscribe to Hidden Logic to see the face of American power. See you in the next one.